Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 50. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I am your host, Scotty 827, joined live in studio by the trophy titan, Tyler. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Scotty?
Good. We got a lot to catch up on, I think,
Yeah.
since the last time.
That's
Were we pre-CWL last time? I'm trying to remember.
I think we've been pretty much doing it almost like monthly right on the beginning of CWL and
Yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking.
at the end of almost every Legend League season. It's a little off this Legend League season because it ended up
Yeah, like a
being a short one last month, but yeah, it's been pretty consistent like every month almost right on the beginning of CWL.
Will it catch up this month? I guess I didn't check. I forget.
So
So many
yeah,
things to
Legends
look at.
this month is 35 days this month.
Wow, 5
So it's
extra
a
days of
longer one.
disappointment.
Yeah. 5 extra days. 5 extra days to, disappoint yourself, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, I think I ended up 12 trophies underneath my highest trophy.
Oh, dang.
And it was I was editing the podcast, and when I'm doing that sometimes like time goes wonky and I missed an attack that could have put me over it. And so I was like,
Oh,
damn it.
no.
Yeah, and
That's
I don't know why the last day of Legends that also feels like I do the worst.
it's it does happen. I feel like I constantly do that towards the end too, like, I'll see, like, 5 days left, and I think it's because I'm trying to make up ground, to
Oh,
try to finish even or, like, I'm like, "Oh, I only have 5 more days to push or, to get even higher," and then I really just end up kinda disappointing myself because I try a little too hard or something.
yeah, it's like am I going for Hail Marys now that I'm,
Yeah.
as you say, something like that?
Pushing too hard and it ends up going the wrong way.
Well, how are you feeling going into this CWL?
Um, I'm feeling pretty good. Think we got a decent lineup going. We had another like 1 or 2 guys join the clan this last month that have been good in regular wars, so we'll see how they do in CWL. They made the top 15 cut, and even though I think one of them has like a really low end defense base, but I was like, hey, if you make up for offense, nobody will say anything about it.
Yeah. Well, it's
Um,
kind of, yeah,
y-
that's really the big thing, isn't it? Mostly it's like,
yeah,
as long as you can at least hold your own.
Yeah, as long as if you can put up stars and like, it does kind of suck sometimes defensively if you're losing on that end. But
Yeah.
uh, we did some research on some bases this month, and I think we found some good ones. I kind of assigned everybody a base, and except for our like top 3 or 4 defensive, like I kept some defensive stats throughout the month too of how many times people got tripled with their base.
So you
And
guys, so you guys are kind of keeping them then, like, or testing
yeah,
them out through the month?
Yeah, there was, like, 3 guys well, we didn't test these ones that we're gonna use the CWL, we just kinda got them just barely, but there was, like, 3 or 4 guys, in our clan that had a base that they ran all month that did really well, so I was like, "Hey, you guys keep those ones because they did really well." And then the rest of us that had, like, lower than 50% of the time we were getting tripled, over 50% of the time, I should say. But we'll try to switch out our bases and see if we can it's actually over 75%, I think is what the cut was.
You know,
Then,
I'd be
we'll try to
interested.
find something else.
I'd be interested as you're saying that, right? Because, um, you've been giving me a couple bases.
Mhm.
And then what I'll do,
I saw that one yesterday when I was friendly challenging. I was like, "Ah, that's thanks, Scotty, you got that base."
yeah, and like, so you gave it to me, and then, so I think the one I'm running, right? I think it was I don't even know that new defense. I'm
Yeah.
blanking on it. And so I put that in there, and I kind of see this a bunch with like, that's a kind of a similar base. But I I
Mhm.
can put it where I thought it was going to be best. Um, and then I've been running that base, and it's been doing really well. And what I was starting to wonder on that is if you're running the very same base, and I've been running the base, um, I wonder how much difference the CC troops make.
Oh, yeah. I've always kinda wondered that too, like, whenever I get a base online, like, guys will always say, "This is what you should run as a CC," and I've
Yeah,
wondered, does it make that big of a difference? I bet it's marginal, like, you probably can't see it unless you're really looking for it and noticing it.
we
Because
should come.
most of the time, a typical CC right now is, like, 3 ice golems, right? Um, you'll see every once in a while, like, only 2, and then a combination of, like, witches we've been seeing a lot of, or rocket
Uh,
loons.
I put in.
I What have you seen? I saw you had a druid in there
I have a druid and an E
and a
Titan,
E-Titan.
and I got to tell you, I don't get 3-starred very often. I mean, I think the most
Yeah.
I've ever gotten 3-starred in a day is like 4 times. Maybe one base I got wrecked. But like when I so when I went and looked for like an online base, right? And I'm looking at it and they're
Mhm.
telling me what the CC is and whatever. I'm going, there ain't no way I'm putting that in there. Be, I'm not gonna you that's what you're expecting, right? So I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm not putting that in there. I don't know. I think part of it is I've friendly challenge. I just want something in there that's gonna be unexpected. And like a
yeah,
dragon in there is really a
yeah,
dragon and a E Titan.
the Super Dragon, was pretty pretty good, like, I wanna say right at the beginning of the year. I kept running into problems with Super Dragons because your people weren't running a poison because they were just like,
Oh,
"Oh, we'll get rid of the CC," or the poison wasn't doing enough to the dragon, I can't remember. But, like, with the heavy root riders, like, you don't have anything to kill the dragon except your warden or if your queen goes inside, but if your queen's, like, on the outside cleaning up,
or a
like, it's
killer
only
druid
your
bear.
warden and your, maybe RC, if she's still alive, can kill that super dragon, and the super dragon was just roasting stuff. I feel like the hounds, like either the ice hound or the lava hound, are just too slow doing
Yeah,
damage, that they're not actually like, it's a great concept, but they're not doing enough damage because 'cause they're
j-
so slow.
just time. If you can
Yeah,
manage time, you can overcome it.
and it's like the ice golems is literally freezing you while defenses are just crashing down on you in the base. So I think what I paid attention to a lot, like, and I even heard it on the tournaments that I was kinda watching this last weekend, is you've gotta get the ice golems out and then start your attack. Like, you've gotta get by them with your RC, put a archer at the very end of the base, and then draw those ice golems out, drop, like, a Valk, and then the Valk can just take them out while the
I've
rest of your army goes in the base.
I've been doing that a lot. Just dropping a Velk
Yeah.
on the outside, like I'll start a warden walk and then
Mhm.
drop that and let him do that, and it's been working pretty well. But yet, it's those
Yeah.
time fails that are getting me on that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too. But
That's
you know
the
what?
thing, you run the risk of running out of time because 'cause you're doing a lot of, you know, trying to spend time cleaning that up.
So I hit my base a lot, right?
Mhm.
With like FCs. And so having that druid and that E Titan in there, what ends up happening is they get lost, like in the chaos, like in a core or something.
Mhm.
And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden there's the bear just out there like doing work. And and so it'll sometimes just catch a hero, like pretty
Yeah.
well or just mess up an attack just enough.
It was funny, when I saw it, I had, like, flashbacks because I had a very similar idea towards when druids just kinda came out, because they heal, right?
Yeah.
So I saw it, I think, on somebody's YouTube. I didn't really come up with it, but I saw it on somebody's YouTube, and I gotta try that. They were running 2 druids, but they were putting their CC right next to all 4 of their heroes. And the druids would heal the heroes defensively, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, if somebody was coming in so it's like you put it on a spot where somebody was gonna try to enter really quick, and then they were just healing your heroes while they were getting attacked. But, it didn't ever, like, really help enough to where I was like, "That's amazing, I gotta keep using this." It was just like, it kinda works sometimes if people use that attack, but not all the time, so I'm just gonna drop it."
I wonder how it would work with that new troop thrower.
The thrower.
Yeah.
I think the thrower's too slow. He's not, like and he doesn't do enough damage. Or he does do high damage, but does he have a lot of life? I can't remember, I
Oh
haven't
no, I
played.
mean like the troop launcher.
Oh, putting the druid in the troop launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
no, that's what people are doing.
are they?
Yeah, so, like,
They're
the
throwing their
super witch attack.
cocaine bears over the walls is
Yep,
what's
throwing
happening.
cocaine bears. So that I kinda played with that because I got up to level 2 so I could donate to myself from max, and I was trying it in, some FCs and whatnot, but it's hard to lose the siege barracks because then you lose those P.E.K.K.A.s and wizards
Yeah,
and, like, that side of the funnel, but if you can, like, funnel with your queen and maybe funnel with your warden on one side, and then you get your army to go up the middle. I was watching a lot of Shock, actually had a lot of videos on this with super witches.
I've been behind.
Um, he he was running that new siege machine, and it launches troops in the order of their size, so smallest to biggest, and I think you get a maximum of 5 launches, so you don't want more than 5, like, different
Troops.
troops in your army. So I'm pretty sure he was running a loon, maybe 2 loons for Coco loons, right? So that they'll get to the middle of the base before your healers do, and then those traps will hit your loons instead of your healers. And then he was running like, either a Yeti or an ice golem. Or sorry, it was an ice golem
Ooh,
because they're 15 space, right? So
yeah.
it's launching a freeze right into the middle of the base for you. It's freezing for you, like a free freeze. And then the druid was coming last, because it heals and then turns into the bear. Where if you did like a healer instead, you could just lose the healer right away and it's not doing 2 things for you. Like at least the druid launches in, he's healing stuff, and then when he's done healing, he turns into the bear to start attacking stuff. But some people were running like 2 druids or just 1 in that other combination of the troops that I told you about. And he was having a lot of success with it. He was doing really well with the super witches.
I really so I have it up to it's on its way to max right now.
Mhm.
And so I was trying to play with it with those FCs where like if I'm doing really good with an army and hitting it this way, I'll be like, okay, now how if I know I'm getting it a consistent, percentage, then I'll throw in like, let's try something else. I really like how it just keeps reinforcing.
Yeah,
Of course, I didn't
it's
know what the hell I
kinda
was
cool.
doing, so it was like, I'm using it, but I don't have maybe the right. I didn't really play with the CC troops with it that much, but like driving, if you're kind of driving in a circle around the base or like on the outside to kind of have that stuff just peppering in as you're like
Indeed.
walking the warden or like a queen
And
walk,
it's
I'd imagine too, but
Yeah, and it's not only, like, those troops, but it's also throwing in the giants and super wall breakers, and I think it's bar that it just, like, gives you for free kinda thing,
yeah.
which is a really cool concept, like, it's almost like the siege machine where you're getting free P.E.K.K.A.s and free wizards, like, you're getting those free giants, wall breakers, and barbs, which, depending on your army, those wall breakers could be really useful to kinda open up random walls. The giants are kinda tanky. The wall breaker's probably not or the barb's probably not a whole lot, you don't notice it, but those other 2 could really help out sometimes. And he wasn't running, like, anything to break open walls with his super witches. I think he had a jump in there, but he was kinda relying on those wall breakers, to help out. Oh, he actually ran a super wall breaker in there too, so that, like, it launched because it's only 8 space, so it would launch before the ice golem and it would for sure open up in a wall. Because the regular wall breakers don't always open up walls, but the super wall breaker does no matter what size wall it is.
So I've been running behind on this thing and trying to
Mhm.
get caught up to speed on what's going on with it because I don't want to get too excited. Especially, when I see it, like, then those 8 days and 10 days just get to be too much.
Yeah.
So I drop it, right? Let's say
Hmm.
there's nothing on the board. I drop it, nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will not launch any troops. I think it is almost like the war. It's
Yeah,
almost like the warden, but the warden does attack things.
I
So I
think
think it just follows the biggest army space. So you would probably have to have something down for it to actually launch. It's a good
that's where
question. I never tried it like that.
I think that's what happened to me, um, and so what I'm trying to think then, and as I was playing around with it, so I'm going to drop. If I was going to do a walk, I would probably want to drop the warden, let's say, and I want to get the stuff
Hmm.
in that way. Let's say I'm going to do it on a flat side of the base, right? On
Yeah.
the top corner and the side corner or whatever. Um, could I'm wondering then if I drop the warden, one shot on one corner, one shot, maybe another shot, and then I drop like the two heroes on the other corner, that would then switch the shot over, right?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, I think it changes. So it's like it's shooting in one space and those troops die or there's not enough troops there. You drop your main army in a different spot, it will follow that main group. I
So
did
that
see that from Shock's army
so that would be kind of
because
a
he was.
cool way to like like the siege barracks, right? Like you
Mhm.
got me using those in in to clean, like especially like the side, but sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just not quite getting like I could get more out of it, right? Of course I've got to,
Mhm.
get better at it. But let's say then that I just like dropped that machine and I drop, a Yeti or yeah, I drop a Yeti, boom, clear, just drop enough troop to keep that thing going right on one corner until the stuff's cleared as much as I want it. Then drop the warden on the other corner or the queen on the other corner to have that start going at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you could like work your funnel
In the
back.
middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, watch some of Shock's, Super Witches. I know you like the bowlers, and I saw you were running throwers in your FC, but, like, you could probably do a very similar thing to
With
what
the
he was
super
running.
witch. Yeah.
Uh, and just instead of using Super Witches, you could use your bowlers or throwers because it's basically like a smash army, right? Like, you have to funnel really well before you throw that army in.
Yo. Yo. Yeah, I'm gonna check him out. I've just been running behind this week. Uh
No, yeah, there's so many people and things out there, like,
it,
it's hard to get them all.
well, and everything. It seems like since the update since December, since this newer update and everything, well, new hero and all this, like everything's up in the air. It's like we got a new defense, these bases. In your legend leagues, are you seeing a difference like 3-star, 2-star trophy wise? I noticed like the high didn't seem to be as high last month, and maybe I'm just incorrect on that, but
Yeah.
in the
You mean
trophy range.
defensively catching up or.
Well, like okay, so pre let's say last month
Mhm.
end of Legend League, what does it look like compared to this month end of Legend League with the February update?
With the update?
Yeah.
I definitely it's it's kind of hard to compare totally, I guess, but because last month was shorter, like,
Yeah. I
month-wise,
was
so you
just thinking
can't
that as I was
count, like,
saying
your
that.
trophies, but I did for sure, I think, notice, uh I think I did for sure notice, like, defensively, you can start to tell bases are catching up, and, like, the update with
Mm.
the RC, not I I lose my RC a little bit quicker sometimes, or if I make a mistake on the entry, I could lose her completely, and then, yeah, kinda it just changes your whole attack, like, it's hard to 3-star without her if you mess up. So I did notice quite a bit of a difference, I feel like, especially towards the end when you're starting to see the harder bases, the better base designs and the
More
harder
leveled
people.
up.
Yeah. I did actually get,
Yeah, I was
a
gonna ask.
previous best on one account for February.
Did you?
Like, yeah, like my end of season on Minion Mike, I had an end of season best. And that's I don't know, it's hard to tell. Like sometimes it feels like some people don't push because it's a weird month or but like you can't
Uh-huh.
rely on everybody else's comparisons because it's so many thousands of people out there
Yeah.
that it's
I
like who knows? If there's an event troop, some people don't like to push because it's an event troop month, and they're just like everybody's gonna just have 3 stars no matter what. Where last month's event troops weren't that great, so I don't think it really affected anything because I didn't really notice anybody using them.
do you think it's a case of now, like, it can be, "Oh, event troop, everybody can win." I To me, it feels like the maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm
Hmm.
crazy. Both are probably right. But it feels like it's in a balanced place where it's hard to overkill a base. It's hard to just,
Yeah,
get that 3 and I'm going into attacks just not it's not like I was blowing attacks out before, but, like,
yeah.
everything is hard to get. Like, it
I
just feels like okay, it feels like that 2-star 50% and 3-star, you really gotta earn those that percentage between 50 and
yeah.
100.
I think it relies on a couple things. Like you can't make as many mistakes. Like you have to make sure your entry's good,
There's my problem.
and there's there's, like, different base layouts, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'll notice sometimes when I'm attacking, like, at the end, I'm like, "Well, that base was crushed because like, I had tons of troops left, and then the next attack, I feel like I do the exact same thing. I'm doing a good entry. I have a good funnel. I'm hitting my spells just about the same as my last attack, and I barely survived to get a triple with, like, 3 troops, or maybe there's only 1 hero left. I was like, "What was the big difference there?" And I think it comes down to base layouts and, like, what they're trying to defend, which is probably root riders, which is, what 90% of us probably out there are using right now. And that's what I'm using. So it's probably a little combination of both. Like the defenses are finally starting to level up. Your the nerf helped defenses and bases are starting to be designed more to like anti root rider. I don't know if you noticed last month, but the island town hall in the center, and it's
yeah,
basically almost that same base that you have, but, like, every 6 out of 8 bases that I would see a day that I'm attacking, for my Legend League kits, is that same base where the town hall's in the very center all by itself, or maybe it's there, but it has
yeah.
an invis tower, or maybe it's there with just, like, 1 other defense, so that and there's enough space around it that your whole army's going
Just
all the
getting
way around,
pounded by
and
the
then you
side.
yeah, and you're just getting pounded the whole time by the town hall so that you get 1 star. Like, I was using them too because it's just what was working, and if you didn't do it just right, you could end up with a 1 star a lot, and I think
Uh-huh.
some people definitely figured it out and some people didn't. I was starting to, make sure that I
I
would
tested
get
that
1
theory.
spitter. Yeah, test that theory. I definitely had some 1 stars for sure. Um, like I'd get 1 spitter, and then let's say that was at 12 o'clock, I'd put my queen at, either 3 or 9, and then my main army in between, and they would just coast all the way around, but I would make sure to put my RC recall back in later than
Uh-huh.
usual, and I would hit her rocket spear and she would get the town hall for me. That's how I was taking care of it. But I know a lot of people were just doing it different ways. Like they were overgrowthing the one side so that your army had to go through the center, or they were, using invises. I started watching some more videos and I saw some people instead of using overgrowth, were just using invises so that your army deflected and went to the center of the base too.
Yeah, and then you get the timing of what I was running into the problem with it is like once the invis goes, it starts and it's at the same moment I want to use a rage.
Yep.
And then it goes through it too fast and then it just catches on all the outsides. I hadn't and then I'll do both of those things, like try to overgrowth one side, or then I'll bring in the RC to grab the troops that didn't quite funnel in.
Mhm.
But I should wait. I should wait. I should
Yeah, try that RC
move
trick
that
and
to the
wait a little
back.
longer
Yep.
and let your army get a little ways through and then drop her so where that's her first target and you
Yeah.
just hit her spear. She's usually not getting targeted by anything because your main army's already past everything by then. And then she can get that town hall for you and then catch up with the rest of your um and I would say it was working for me 90% of the time. There was those times that I'd make a mistake
And then
and I'd still end up with a 1 star or whatever, but
if they get the town hall, then you have her to help with on that
yeah.
backside.
Yeah, if they get it themselves, then she's definitely helping out somewhere else. But yeah, that base became super popular and or that style of base where that island is in the center. I started seeing a lot of builders this just recently, like this week, started posting more things, or at least the guys that I follow, started going back to an anti-3 base, more like Town Hall 15 or 16, or actually it's probably actually just 15, where everything's just like these weird compartments everywhere and everything's so spread out that it's harder to get a 3 star because it's not symmetrical and it's not easier to dissect. And I actually ran one the past couple days and had some good success with not getting tripled as much in the, middle legends where I'm at.
Yeah. Kind of back to my other base that I was running. I don't know how good it is for legends though. But it's still holding
Yeah.
up in war. My Town Hall 15 base that I just keep adding on to.
Just keep adapting.
Yeah.
And that's
Just
the thing, like
shoving something in.
sometimes it's like having a base that nobody's seen before or that nobody expects that you
Yeah.
can't figure out. Like we have a guy in our clan named Savage, and he does that. He builds bases like they're just so awful all that it's like, how do I even go about attacking? And we did like a little friendly war between each other because we ended up on the last day of February. We didn't want to start another war because we wanted to start CWL on the first, of the month.
Yeah.
So we ended up just running a friendly war between ourselves, like, and we had half or 10 guys go over to another clan and just ran a little one. But I ended up attacking his base, and it was one of those bases that was just like so off the wall weird. And I too started because I thought I had an approach, and then I totally screwed it up. My army went a different way than it was supposed to, and it was just like I have no practice against a base like that, so it's hard to know what to do because it's so different.
Even if it's like you can get okay, this is not any base building advice. This is me wondering. Please don't take my advice. But just anything a little bit asymmetrical
Mhm.
because it seems like people are very like me too, right? Like if I can get something with symmetry, then I'm like, okay, this is going to be much, easier because I can see
Yeah.
it. Things are going to be, and so when
Yep.
things are just a little bit off, or like my
You don't know what
spitters,
to do or how to approach it or whatever.
yeah, like my spitters are like, you would think they would be kind of in symmetry on the base, but I have one just kind of down a little bit lower. And I think that
Yeah.
throws people off a little bit. Like that's where some of
That
the problems come in for them.
yeah. That defense is tricky, like that specific defense, the spitter, because like I'll look for bases like that. And if one's really exposed on one side that you can grab with your RC, and then the other one's somewhere totally different and it's pointed in a different direction, then I know I can enter from its backside or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so I think the spitters almost you want to run symmetrically, but everything else that's like so
Mine are pretty,
have
I
like
mean, they're very symmetrical, right? They're like very close
okay.
together. They're
Yeah.
overlapping. but
Okay.
one's just down just a little bit. So that way,
Yeah.
like, it'd be hard to get them in the same freeze spell. And then
Okay. Yeah,
they
that's
come in
important
one
too, like
way.
OGs and freeze or whatever, you'd wanna have them spaced out enough.
Yeah, just like they just divert a little bit where the one catches the troops if you're coming from the one way at the right time. But it was more of a happy accident that I'm seeing than some genius. Um, what do you think of?
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than brilliant.
Yeah, that's right. What are you thinking about this new season?
The new, like the new outlook or
Troop
whatever, the
it,
military troop thing.
action isn't action
It's like
hero month.
action figures. Yeah, action figures or action hero.
This is
I think it's
basically
pretty
the A
cool.
team.
Yeah, well, some of the people are comparing it to, like, Boom Beach, and I saw that, like, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I was I was like, "What is this?" Did you see the plane in there? It was like this fighter jet thing in, like, the main picture on the loading screen,
Oh
like,
no, I did not.
it's down below the troops, and
What if they did
yeah,
that
it's
for like
right
a
below
blimp
the
skin?
wouldn't that be so cool?
The,
But it
well,
was
there's a
like,
missed
"That's
opportunity.
interesting."
Siege skins. Siege
Yeah,
skins.
siege skins.
What
Yeah.
the hell? Why have we not thought of that before?
That that is something that could definitely like and you guys have mentioned pet skins on the podcast before with other guests, but, like, how have they not capitalized on that, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're all about money, you can tell by all
Yeah.
these things that they throw out to try to get your money. Like, the first month that they had the Minion Prince, they didn't have any skin farm, right? And then last month was the first month that they had a Minion Prince skin,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yep. Now another
And
one.
of course, it's not the gold pass, it's the 9.99 skin. So everybody buys it because they don't want the minion prints to look like everybody else's, but really everybody's just got the same skin now. And then this month they're like, "Oh, well, I'm sure it was like, hey, that worked out really well last month
Let's
when he
do it
was
again.
9.99. Let's do it again. Let's run it back and do it again." And everybody's, it used to be what, $40 to buy all the hero skins for your 4 heroes, and now it's $50 to buy all hero skins. So
This is
they're
gonna be a
definitely
hard
gonna
one.
capitalize on that.
This is gonna be
I
a
I'm I'm like I wanna see the minion prints a little closer because he looks like he just has a hat. That's basically all that they changed. Or,
yeah.
maybe he has a different gun for his,
I
what do you
just
even call that? Like, spear or whatever that he's got. But
he's
he doesn't look like he's got that much of a costume on, he just still looks like the minion prince to me.
he's my least favorite one of them.
Yeah.
On this one, he reminds me of Hogan's Heroes. Uh, but but I think they're all really cool. And I thought the map was really cool. It reminds me of
Yeah.
like my GI Joe guys when I
Yeah,
was a kid.
there was somebody online that I was watching the video of, and they were, like, referencing all these different things that were, like you could see a little bit of Boom Beach here, you can see, like, Metal Gear Solid in
Oh
the
yeah.
Queen or, like, the RC is pretty cool with her, like, sniper rifle spear launcher thing that she's got going on, and then the
Oh,
Warden with his jetpack
I'm just looking at it going.
launcher is gonna look cool too.
It could almost be The Walking Dead, is what I was thinking. Like you've got the different. I don't know. I saw it, and I think it was the RC when I was like, "That's Michonne," and I don't know. It was just I don't. It's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
thought. Um,
yeah.
I'll try not to buy
You
it.
got Rick the Barbarian.
I did buy that um mashup scenery from
Did
the
you?
Supercell ID store.
Yeah.
I, I,
Okay.
I really like it. I'm kind of digging it. I just got it
That's
last
cool.
night.
I just don't play all the other games, so I don't really, like, have know that much about all the other ones. So I didn't really care for it, but it does seem like a really cool idea to the people that, have
Yeah,
interest in the other games that, "Oh, I can see this game in this one now."
it kind of looked like when I was looking like it was going to be because it says 9 months left to buy it. So I'm thinking that
Oh, okay.
the stuff in there is like the once a year thing.
Yeah, they're gonna swap stuff out. Like, the Gauntlet deco, I bought that Gauntlet deco on my one account because I just have, like, all the decos that I can get.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like the
and
new
then they came
Christmas
out with
tree. I
2
thought.
more decos out. Yeah, they came out with 2 more decos after, and the one was the Clash Royale like king, and he's sleeping in a bed.
Yep,
And I'm
Sleepy
like,
King, I saw that too.
I don't really know that thing, so I'm not gonna waste my, medals on that or whatever. But there was I have a really good, like, Christmas decoration area down in the one part of my base. 'Cause I have the 10th anniversary skin where it has a snowy part of the base,
Oh,
and
nice.
there's that new one, they have a cactus with, like, lights on it, like
Yep,
Christmas
I
tree
saw
lights.
that one too.
I'm almost tempted to buy that one, but I'm like, "I'll wait to see what the next decoration that comes out to be, because it seems like they're almost doing, like, every 2 or 3 months, they're putting a new little
Another one.
decoration in there for you to buy.
And I'm thinking like, okay, that's once a
And
year thing, and I had enough points. I'm like, so, and I will say this, when I looked at the picture of the scenery, I
Mhm.
wasn't nearly as much of a
You
fan.
weren't sold.
Then I looked at it a little bit closer and I thought, well, it's a once a year thing. I'm just going to get it anyways. And when I did, I put it on. I'm like, whoa, I'd like it way more than
Yeah.
because
Sometimes their pictures aren't that great, like, you have to
yeah,
actually get in there and start seeing the little details that you're like, "Oh, this is awesome."
they need to do like a train set one, just like, I love it when they have like a moving train or things like that moving around, but people love train sets.
Yeah, the different like, didn't the Wild West one have something like a little train kinda going around?
Yeah, yeah, I loved it.
It's kinda cool.
And like with the goblet or the space one, there's things on the side.
Yeah.
Um, what else did you see in the season? There was uh, some news. Metal Vent seems like it's
Yeah.
going to be a pretty normal month. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think the metal vent's, like, a shorter one, and usually that one's just for basically, like, ore or other resources. They don't usually have, like, any, um, thing in the shop that, like, you can buy that's, like, a new equipment or, you can't buy, like, certain things. It's just for, like, the people who maybe don't wanna spend as much money that need to kinda catch up on things. I did notice though it says sneak peek, so that means that, like, there's some kinda update, which is weird because we just had one. And then I saw
Ooh,
something on Twitter this morning that it's just a builder base update, which is not good for everybody. Just like somebody said it was just a builder base update, which I'm like, "Ah, that's kinda disappointing." I don't really love builder base. I feel like I only use it because 'cause I'm using it for,
okay, some
clan games. Clan games are like the daily points that you need to get more points in your gold pass.
yeah, or when they like they're going to release some new defense and they're going to say no, you have to have
Oh,
this
yeah.
defense up to this level. That's I'm like, you better
Yeah.
check in over
Kinda
there.
like kinda like the new defense that they just released.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was
think
kinda sneaky of them.
oh, that's where I could just keep things going. Because I think I was gonna quit doing anything after I got my Bob the Builder or whatnot. Um, the military scenery is something else that's coming up in the news. Sharpen your combat
Yeah.
skills in the military scenery. This high octane boot camp is where action heroes are made. Military scenery will drop this season, so stay frosty.
Yeah.
Oh, why
Yeah.
frosty? Ice,
Yeah.
ice base, ice battle Hoth. That's what
That would be
I,
so cool.
that would be really cool. Uh, and then is the treasure hunt.
Yeah, some more treasure chests it looks like are coming up. We'll see. We'll see if it has as many bugs and crashes as the
And I
past few
was gonna
times that it's
say,
come out.
how long
If it
will it take
actually works, or they'll have to delay it 4 more times before they can actually do it and then compensate us with, like, a free chest of gold.
I'm just not gonna. I'll just take my time getting excited for that because it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll be
I
fun
try
to
not to
get some
complain
free
too
shit.
much because it's free stuff, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
getting free stuff,
exactly.
but some of the free stuff that you get, you're like, "Really? Like, just give me gems instead of, uh, the the
The next thing.
500,000 gold that you gave me."
Yeah,
Half
it
a
is
mil
fun.
gold.
It is fun to have things to open. It's just when you're like expecting to be able to open something and you can't, then you get a little.
Yeah, and they're
Uh,
so random, right? Like,
yeah.
I think sometimes you get like, a common one has better stuff like the, treats? Are the treats a common?
Oh yeah. Or
And
I
they're
don't know
like
what
the
it.
best thing. They're the best ones, I feel like, that you can get. Like, they're way under what they should be on the scale of common, epic, legendary, whatever. They're, like, way low, but they're actually probably one of the better. Like, if I get a treat, I'm like, "Yeah, that's way better than whatever else I'm."
I like getting a skin.
I haven't got one of those yet, and I haven't got any equipment. I was looking to get when they first came out, I was looking to get a fireball on one of my accounts because I hadn't bought it yet,
Oh,
and had all these chests, and of course, no fireball. Had to spend the gems to buy it instead.
yeah.
Or I bought it and then I think I bought it in one of those other events that came out later. I can't remember.
I think I've got a gold, or I got a skin. Think I can't.
Was it a skin you wanted? Or was it a skin you're like, "Oh, I would never
No,
even spend money on that."
I think it's it was the party warden, I think.
Yeah, that one's
Um,
actually kinda cool.
yeah. So I
I
thought it was like,
remember, Chip really liked that one.
yeah, it was kind of
He
like
was
one
all
of
about the
those.
party one.
I'm thinking to myself, like, I probably won't buy it, but I'm really happy that I got. I mean,
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
I
you
got it.
got it.
Yeah, like, okay, that'll be. I thought at that point, I'm like, like thinking about the ones that might be part of sets or things like that. If
Mhm.
they give those away more often, and you start to be able to
Yeah,
collect kind of things that you might have missed, especially
yeah.
with like those seasons
It'd be
that
cool
you
if
only
you
get the free one.
if it was, like, just a delay as, like, skin, and then it gave you a choice of which skin you would like to choose. That would be
Oh
cool.
yeah, like
Or, like, equipment, and it gave you a choice. And I know, like, it has it built into where you
book of
can't get a
skins.
skin that you've already got, or you can't get a equipment that you've already got, but it would be better if you could pick the exact one that you wanted, instead of just giving you a random.
Yeah, do a token.
Yeah, or book, like you said, book of skins, that'd be cool.
Skin hammer. I don't know. You're starting to kind of get into the like Silence
That's
of the
what they would
Lamb
name it.
stuff. Yeah. I,
Enamour.
I don't know. I do like the siege skin idea though.
Flower is good. I've never heard of that, and it's brilliant. They they have said in past, like, little developer things when they've talked to people like Judo Sloth or whatever, that they don't wanna change, like, certain things of the game to make it look different. I think, like, defenses, like, they said they want new defense skins because you don't know, like, what you're attacking, or, town hall skins. So
Yeah.
they don't wanna confuse people on what you're
Make
attacking,
it too complicated.
make it too complicated, but a siege skin would be awesome because, like, nobody you don't it's not like you have to see that and predict something different, like, that you're putting your siege machine down, so, and it's funny that they come out and say that too because have you ever seen, like, pictures or videos of, like, the Chinese server?
Yeah,
And,
I've
like,
seen a
they
couple.
have skins on their defenses and their town halls, and it's like, "Well, how come
Do
they
they
can have them,
really?
but we can't?" Yeah, like, they have,
Oh,
like, these weird looking town halls, it's like, "That's where's the town hall at?" "Oh, it's in that weird
and that's
globe looking
Supercell
thing."
doing it?
I don't know if because they have their own, like, complete server with their own rules because the
Oh,
government, I think, over there. I don't know how it all works, but somehow they have them and we don't.
I could see like you could just think with the cool things you could do with the themes.
Yeah.
With this month's action thing could be like the battle tank
Oh, yeah, that would be
Bram
sweet.
or something, or like like that the aircraft carrier like
Yeah,
blimp.
as the blimp, yeah, a fighter
Yeah.
jet blimp or a bomber for, your stolen slammer. What would
Man,
be the modern version of, like, a flame flinger? The catapult. That's,
the
like, pretty
rocket
old.
launcher,
Yeah, there you go.
you could do that, or like
The mortar,
think of
the
like
mortar machine.
working it into like a theme would be kind
Yeah.
of cool. Like like the Wild West, or like the space theme could be. Yeah, you could really do a lot of fun things with that. Or like when they partner up with DC, and then or Marvel, and can do a superhero one, that would be really cool because then you could have different vehicles. If
Yeah.
they do that though, I would end up spending so much money. Like,
That's why that's why I'm so, like I can't
Hint,
believe they
hint.
haven't because they know people would spend money on that. Like, those are the most popular things, right?
The
And then
Batmobile. Yeah.
if you go and spend that money on it, it's like, "Whoa," you know, "That would be so
Yeah.
cool if I had that." And then when you do it, everybody wants it now.
Yeah. You have to have the set.
Yeah.
Um, do you always request? This was a question I forgot to ask a little bit earlier that I don't want to. Do you always request max donations for Legend League kits, or
Yes.
do you think it matters? Does it make a
Um,
difference?
I think it does.
Yeah, probably.
Offensively, like, I wouldn't really want, like, a lesser level spell or lesser level troop, but I have a clan that or I'm in a clan that's mostly all Town Hall 17. Like, I think
Yeah,
it kinda depends on where your clan's at. Um, I
I should just
remember
try it.
I remember actually that's funny that you say that because now I'm flashing back, like, I remember when I first got into this clan, I think I was a Town Hall behind, and I didn't have some of the troops or things, so I couldn't donate them. And I was like, "Well, I can't even donate to you." And then somebody mentioned something about donations. So I'm like, "I can't even donate to you because it has a max.
Yeah,
You're max only." But then when I started donating to myself with my other accounts, like I just made sure I had that troop that I always wanted up a
maxed out.
level on that account so that you can donate. And with the like, I don't sure you guys have got to have some pretty good clan perks being around for so long. So do you have like the +2 donation, like the levels?
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
that some people like might not have that troop leveled up.
Yeah, and
Right,
that's
like
sometimes that's just tough luck, like, what can you do about that?
maybe they should just have a not do the 2 gem increase or do it, but if you're doing the 1 gem boost, you can give whatever troop level.
That would be nice,
Just because, like, when you get into that engagement, like in the clan, right, and people wanna
I
donate and get XP and
but you can't donate because people are asking for max.
yeah,
I'm sure it just differs for everybody, like I said, I don't even think about it now because, like, I have it put on there, but I don't think about it because everybody in that clan's pretty much Town Hall 17, where if we had, like, more of a mixed clan, I might turn it off so I could but then again, I donate to myself. I guess it kinda depends on your situation of, can you donate to yourself? Are you sitting around waiting willing to wait for donations, or do you need them right away kinda thing?
yeah, and hmm, that's a I'm gonna
Fluctuate,
add
I
that
guess.
to my, request for Supercell this year.
There you go.
Because a lot of sometimes
Supercell
people just feel
Santa.
bad about it too. They'll be like, "Sorry, I
Yeah.
can't donate," you know?
Well, yeah, and you'd feel like I remember being in that spot when I came, like, it's to that clan, it's hard when you can't donate because 'cause you're like, "I can't donate a troop," but you can say you tried, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Please don't let the
And then
troop
they
donations reflect.
and then, like, I don't even pay attention to troop donations anymore
Yeah, you
because
either,
especially in our
mostly.
clan, like, we're we're leaving to go dump our CC, our clan capital, and when you
Yeah.
leave, you set your count anyway. Like, I remember when I first came to the clan, like, there was, like, 3 or 4 guys, and they're not really even around anymore. They were, like, bitching about, "Get up your donation ratio," and I'm like, "I can't donate to you," and now it's like, "Get up your donation ratio." Well, I just left the clan, like, I
Yeah.
you don't even know you didn't see the 1,500 troops that I had on there before that I had donated. Now they're all gone because I left the clan for 2 seconds. Or you're
Yeah.
leaving for War Wars, or you're leaving for, another clan for CWL, like there's just so many things that it doesn't really matter to me as much anymore, and I don't even pay attention to. Like, I'll be like, "Hey, that guy should probably donate more," but I don't call him out, "He should donate."
I'm gonna
I've
I'm
I've said in the chat a few times, like, "I'm not spending any more gems on you guys." Like, I have the gold pass, but I'm not donating super minions anymore because I'm running low on gems, and I feel bad not donating, but I'm like, "Ask for something different." And we've said that in Icon a couple times, like, ask for loons instead of super minions, or ask for something that people use all the time that they'll donate instead of having to gem, or make a second account that you can donate to yourself. Like, there's
Yeah.
tons of different options to where you can't it's almost like you shouldn't have to feel bad, and you definitely shouldn't have to call people out on it. And then, like, the cap rate medals were really cool when they first came out because you could just donate to yourself all the time.
Oh
But then
yeah.
they started putting in ore into cap raid, so now you don't ever wanna spend your medals because 'cause you're like, "I need to buy ore with those, so I can't spend them on filling my own CC."
I was
So
doing
it's
that
just like a
this last
loophole
night.
kinda thing. Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed that when I came over to you guys' con that you had, like, I think Swim had asked for donations, and I saw, like, the lower levels on there, and I was like, that's kinda weird," but now it makes sense. You guys are just you have some lower town halls that are probably trying to donate, and
When people are moving
might
to
just
like
clan
with
to clan. Yeah, and you're
the
moving around.
the comp wars, and that's where I think like it would be really interesting to when you instead of like having the donations tied to you, have it tied to you in the clan. So like when you leave,
Yeah.
when you go into House of L, your donations there are there, like
Stay
under your
there.
name. And then when you go over to
Yeah.
the other clan, then it says, "Oh, there's your donations there." Because people don't sometimes like
Just
to
your
move.
donations overall for the month.
Yeah, and they prefer not to move because they lose their
Yeah.
donation
No, we
numbers.
had a guy that would never leave. Like, he would never leave because he didn't wanna lose his donation numbers, like, he was all about that donation number. And then,
It's kind of
like,
a bummer.
who cares?
Yeah, it
And
comes
I don't
back.
think it affects you, like, I think you still get medals even though your clan capital's full, like, when you're attacking, I think you still get those medals. You're just not getting the actual clan capital to donate, but we already had maxed out, so it's like, do we really need to donate? And we're starting to donate them to another clan that we don't use, or I'm coming over to donate them to you guys because 'cause I'm like, they actually will use it. So it's just
So what
it's so
happens
weird.
when you're maxed out then? Like it's just
I
nothing?
I think you're attacking and it's saying you're gaining that loot, but you're not gaining it's kinda like gold or elixir in regular base. If you have your elixirs all the way filled and you're attacking, like, it still says loot gained, but it doesn't actually go to your banks because your banks are already full. That's the way I
Oh,
interpret it anyway.
interesting.
And then you're still able to get your clan medals after the weekend ends because you attacked, but you're not gonna show up on the donation list of donating clan capital medals or,
Oh,
uh,
oh
gold or
yeah.
whatever it is. You know, if you're paying attention to that, which I don't know how many people are paying attention to. "Hey, you didn't donate to clan capital. Come on, pick up your
Yeah.
donations."
Sometimes I'm like right on it too, and sometimes it just builds up and I'm like, there's a lot to pay attention to sometimes.
If you, like, came into this game and didn't know what was going on, like, if I just popped somebody, like, that has no idea about the game, they're like, "What in the world? There's so many things going on in this game
Built
that you
out
can't figure out." Yeah.
over time.
Here, good luck.
Yeah. It's right there. I know.
"Oh, come on, it's just right there. Just click on it." You can't find that? How dumb are you?
Yeah, it's getting between the modes sometimes. I could see where like simplifying a couple more things as it gets more complicated and built out. Um,
Yeah. And they're
like
all about, like they've been putting in their updates, so they're all about trying to catch people up that are lower town hall levels. Like, put things in that'll make the quality of life better for your game. And I think they're starting to do that, like this last update with the having a free builder to take decorations down. That was huge. You know, I don't have to
what?
wait 2 more days for my like, if you have, like, a tree growing and you wanna take your tree out of your village, you had to wait for a builder before. But after this February update, now you can just do it. It doesn't take a builder to actually remove the tree or the gem box or whatever.
How did I miss that?
I don't know, but it's a great quality of life. Like, you don't have to wait for a builder anymore. You used to have to click on it, and if you did, sometimes I
Yeah.
actually hit it and say yes and accept the 500 gems that it took to wait for the few days, and I'm like, "No, I didn't
Uh-huh.
wanna do that." Now you can just remove the gem box, and it's free.
Or you're trying to edit your war base and there's like
Yeah,
a gem
and there's
box
something in
right
the way and
there.
you can't.
Yeah.
Like, "No, I gotta
Okay.
wait 2 more days for my freaking base to get" no, now you can just remove it for sure.
I'm
It's
down with
like, why
that.
didn't they do this years ago? It's a great quality of life thing. And then the free I don't if you missed that, maybe you missed this. You can change your defensive CC for Legend League for free.
Yep.
Like, you
I
just go
yep.
choose it. So the one
Yep, I
thing,
knew
like,
that
we were
one.
talking about this earlier in the podcast, like, I didn't wanna change it sometimes because 'cause I'm like, "Well, I have to request it, delete those troops because I don't need 3 ice golems in my
Yep.
attacking CC, and then request again and ask for regular troops. But now you just change it to, nope, I want to try some rocket loots today, or no, I want to try a lava hound today, or whatever you want to try.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there going, oh, I got to do that tonight before thing, but I got to get
Yeah,
my Legend League tack in, and so I have to request in 10 minutes.
yeah,
Um, that
I'm
is a ton of fun, by the way. Um,
yeah.
I'm liking it. Even though I was kind of I don't want to say low on Dark Elixir, but I could definitely have used a little bit more. It's still, I'm getting tons of resources and my builders are
Like
going.
you're not ever like hurting for gold.
Nope.
Like you're still getting enough loot. I've always thought that. Like people are like, no, I gotta get the loot. And it's like you just attack those 8 times with the amount that you get, you shouldn't have to worry about, you
I'm
know,
getting walls
having to
done.
wait around for gold. Yeah, and you can click out walls every now and that's the next thing they didn't do is just be able to build walls without a builder, and then
Oh, that
people
would
would be
be
able to spend their
great.
loot whenever. I was thinking of that today, like I had to wait for a builder, and I'm like trying to do the math, like, can I buy that wall or not? Okay, I gotta wait until tomorrow.
Yeah. I guess the
Where
good
if you
thing
could just
is
do it when you could,
if you do with that goblin builder and you
yeah,
multi-selected a couple walls, if your loot was
he's a little
completely
cheaper.
full, yeah,
Yeah.
just do those real quick. But
How did you feel like your competitions went?
oh
Your
yeah,
first qualifiers, and then now you guys are getting into your first tournament. Like, how do you feel going into that?
well, I've been feeling pretty good about it, except for I've been not doing the best. But I don't know what part of that is like update. I'm working on some new
Oh, it's
troop
huge.
comps.
It
Yeah,
the update was huge.
I feel like I would have done better before. Um,
Yeah,
and then part of it too, because I feel like, okay, wait, this is not an excuse. But I will take the bases too that I'm not like
your
the,
last up kind of thing.
yeah, and like
Clean up
happily do
hitter.
that.
Yeah.
Like, I
No.
think like everybody else on the team, if they have something that they really like, to go for
Mhm.
that, because I'm at that point where, uh, when I start hitting where they're at, then it'll be a different.
See, and that that brings in, like, team dynamics, right, and team strategy, like, we were doing those comp wars, we did the World Clash Cup, um, and before the update, we were 4-0. We won our group because I did group play first, and then we went to the next stage, which was bracketed. There was, I think, 16 US teams, and the top 2 gotta go represent, like, the US in their World Clash Cup tournament that was I just found on Discord or whatever. And post update happened before the bracket, and we barely won our first match in the bracket, I think just on percent, and then we ended up losing the second match by 1 star. But it started like I got that competitive buzz, like, "Ooh, I wanna do better, I wanna keep doing better because I definitely
Yeah.
haven't performed to what I should, like, feel like I should in these wars, like, I feel like I'm kinda letting the team down, not getting 3 stars or getting a lower 2-star. I keep losing my RC for some reason, like, just being dumb with her.
It
But
might just
I
be the
started
new
watching these.
reality, right? Like the
Yeah,
new
it's
comparison.
well, watching these matches, it's like 'cause I was watched a lot of the world qualifier rounds this weekend, where they're doing the Swish stage where it's all the 16 teams survived, and they're like, these war wins are now like 12 or 11 even wins you a war. It's super rare to get a 13. Like, they've only seen a couple 13s, which means there's 3 stars. So it's really good to get 2 3 stars, and it's just fine if you just get 1 3-star and then hope, your defenses hold up kind of thing. So it's like kinda like that reality of this is the new norm, like, you're just trying to make sure you get as high as a percent you can at with 2 stars, and I wonder if that's changing some of these teams that are actually more competitive and, like, doing this, this is their job kinda thing.
Yeah.
I wonder what you were just talking about, like, is there a guy on every team that's like, "I'll just take whatever's left?" That's their last hitter. He's got the most
Oh,
time to
yeah.
prepare, and he knows, like, his job is just to take whatever base is there. Like, and you've gotta I think these teams have gotta do things like that because you've gotta have an opener. Like, watching these more successful teams this last weekend,
Ooh.
you have to have an opener, a guy that's gonna 3-star a really high percent of the time, and, like, some of these guys have really good openers. But I bet you
Why is
they
that?
get first dibs on the
For
bases.
intimidation?
Yeah, like, you gotta start the war off right? And it's intimidation, but it's also, like, you're making the other clan do the same thing as you. Like, if you set a 3-star, the other clan's already behind, and they're trying to keep up the whole time. And so if you have a really good opener, they're for sure the ones that are getting first dibs on the base. And I think these guys are, like, I'm sure they're always talking to each other, or maybe they're even attacking with each other, like, in the same areas, where they can kinda look at all the bases together, and they're like, "Hey, this base is good for Joe. Joe, you should hit." They all look at the different bases, and I think, Joe's our dragon specialist. This base is built to hit with dragons. So Joe, you're gonna take this base.
Yeah.
Bob's good at root riders. Bob, you get this base. And Ian over here is our guy that's gonna get 2 stars high at the end no matter what. So he just gets whatever. If you have like two opener kind of guys that get first dibs on these bases, and then you have guys that are just gonna follow with high attacks, 2 stars, or they get lucky, they get a 3-star kind of thing. I think that's probably the more successful team strategy, and it
Yeah.
makes me wonder, like, could we have done a little better if we would have done something like that? Because it seems like when we were doing our little competitive World Clash Cup thing, we were all on right at the beginning of the war, and it was
Yeah.
like a race to see who could flag, the base that they wanted, and it's like we're almost doing an individualized effort where it should have been like team effort. Everybody look, you know,
Yeah, it's a
Inspectors had the highest triple rate, so high inspector gets first dibs on any base. Charlie's
it
had the second highest hit rate, he gets second dibs, and I haven't tripled at all, so I'll just take last. And you just kind of work for more of a team effort than I want to get the triple, kind of thing.
so if you were gonna, set the positions then, so a 5-person team,
Literally.
you'd have what would the positions be called? Opener 1, opener 2, closer,
Closer's your last guy, yeah. I don't know what you'd call the middle guys. I have to come up with some
rock
kind of
stars.
the rocks. There you go, rock
R
stars.
Yeah. That
Because
would be
they're solid guys, right? They like, I think your third guy is probably a guy that still could triple, but most likely he's always gonna get you a high 2-star, your third and fourth guy. Like, they have the higher chance of tripling than your last guy. But then in a tight war, you also could go with maybe you need your last guy to be a really good attacker because you need that triple at the end.
yeah, I suppose you'd kinda up whoever you were up against.
Yeah, it depends on who you're going against and where you're at star-wise kinda thing.
I do wonder though, like, so we're doing this, high times tournament, uh,
Yeah,
and when we got there, the last time, or maybe it was the world match, we were kinda looking around like, where are we gonna hit, and each of us are looking if we said that's the order of how the war will play out, but that's also like the, pick order of the bases. Like, number 1 opener's gonna get the first pick,
yeah,
se
they get first pick.
and then you kinda, go from work from that, just kinda formalize that position. Because like, when we were
Yeah,
looking at it the last time, it was like, "Okay, beer's taking this one, I'm gonna and this one this, so, which one do you want?" But just like if
yeah,
it's just like, "You know what? You pick. I'll take this one, I'll take this one, I'll take this one," because you have such little time. It's like,
little time, yeah.
you just
I think
go
you've gotta almost have like, if you have a plan ahead, that even eliminates one less thing to stress about, like, who's gonna take what base, like.
or
And
negotiation time and
yeah, the world qualifier thing was unique because I've never done well, the only other tournament that we did, I guess I should say, was timed hits, like, you had to hit at 39, 32, it was every 8 minutes you hit. And then the world qualifier one was 2 attacks at just had to be done in the first 15 minutes. Anything after that, you could hit whenever. Uh, but like I don't know how the high times is working. I haven't paid attention to that. I guess I should. Is it timed hits or is it just open hits?
I will have to look at that. That was my only other thing with these tournaments was that I, I don't know why I have such a hard time finding the information.
Yeah, some of them
Eh,
are harder to find than others. The high times one I'm pretty sure is just to the rules, but there's just so many rules sometimes about all these different stages. Like in some people's tournaments are set up better than others. Like that World Class Cup one that we did, it was really well laid out. And I feel like the high times one, like I'm confused about if it's a 3 versus 3 tournament, um, and you could sign up 6 people, of course, because you can always have bench people, but like you can't just do 3 versus 3 in a friendly. You have to choose 5. So then is there like a requirement for those other 2 bases? Can they just
oh,
not be Town Hall 17s so that people know not to attack them? Or what if you only have a bunch of
oh,
Town Hall
good
17s
point.
that you can move over? Like, or do they just get to attack whatever base is left? I'm sure it's just
Or do you
you
get
attack the
five
top 3.
choices?
Yeah, it I haven't, and I swear I haven't found anything about that yet. I was gonna actually ask you guys that in the chat the other day if you guys had noticed anything about, is there a requirement for the other town halls that are in the clan? Because if it can just be 5 Town Hall 17s, then the other clan has 5 choices of who to hit. Where if
Yeah.
it's you have to have something less than a Town Hall 17, then you know for sure you're only hitting the top 3 because you can't hit, the 16 or the 14 or the 13 or whatever else is in the bottom spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think, this is by no means meant to like criticize anybody or anything, any of the tournaments. It's just like
Mhm.
being brand new to the this part of Clash. I'm not sure what to expect when I'm looking at things or, setting up the negotiations and
And
luckily Swim and Chewy have been taking
and
the
figured
lead
it
on
out.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Charlie's way better at figuring some of that stuff out than I am, like, negotiating or, like, doing the setup for the actual match. Like, I'll negotiate it for us, but he's better at the bots on Discord, so I'm like, "Hey, you set the matchup, I'll just figure out what time I'll negotiate, you set it up," kinda thing. Where that, last tournament that we were in, the World Clash one, like, we didn't even know how to set a match, but the other guy did that was in our, like, organization, uh, what do you call that? Negotiation channel of time. So he helped us like figure out how to set a match and how to set a roster. And like he kind of walked us through some of the Discord bots. And there is like a help thing that's most of the time the admin people will come in and help you. Like if you don't know how to set something, they'll just do it for you. But I
Yeah.
think it's different run in different organizations. So it's hard to, some
Well,
people run better than others for
I'm
sure.
I'm laughing because I was just looking for the rules last night and there I found myself in the help voice channel on accident and then I'm like leaving messages on weird boards on accident of, as I'm looking through stuff. So I'm like, okay, I just shouldn't touch anything. I'll wait and talk to
Yeah.
somebody. Because it's all right there. I'm just
Walk
not,
away.
yeah, like familiar with like the normal setup and routine of,
Yeah.
of these things. And oh, it's just like I am like a bull in a china shop when it comes to Discord. It's like I
Lea
touch one
Leaving
thing.
voice messages for the organization. "Hey, I can't figure out how to add a roster." Like, everybody can see your voice
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. It's like I'm going join, subscribe, and in the public channel, and
"Check
it's
out the podcast over here
you do not
here's
have
my
command
Discord link."
access. Like, oh, I just want to play music. I don't know.
"Can I get a request on a song?"
Anything you're gonna do different for CWL? You got your bases. Do you have
Uh,
a new comp this
no,
month?
pretty much, well, running the same thing. I am switching to the minion prince instead of the king.
You are?
Yeah. I and maybe that'll be base dependent because I feel like some bases, maybe the king is better to break things open in the middle, but that minion prince orb just freezing things after the warden ability seems like it kind of slows a lot of the defenses down and it's really spread out. Then you get those 2, um, little miners that pop out, or minions that pop out. I can't remember what they're called, but they can take some of the air bombs instead of my, you know, healers that are healing up my army. Um, we've said it for months now, but we've kinda had a clan thing of like, "Hey, let's not do any 1 star." But it's killed us every CWL the past 3 or 4 CWLs. It's like we lose, and especially it's like in the first 2 rounds, and it just kinda sets the tone for the whole CWL. Like, somebody will get a 1 star, and we lose the war by that 1 star. And then the rest of the
Really?
CWL tone has kinda been set, and it seriously has happened probably the last 2 or 3 CWLs. Like, it's either a 1 star in the first round or the second round, and it just kinda everybody's kinda, down and out after that because, like, we should have won that war, and we could have been 10 more stars up, but now we're, down 10 stars or 12 stars because we didn't get the 1 star instead of the 3 kinda thing. So it's like, "Hey, let's try to get no 1 stars." I I have I got 21 stars in our last CWL on 1 account, but I'd really like to try to do it on multiple accounts. That'd be a big goal of mine to try to do it on multiple accounts, and but it's hard, man. It's a stressful week, like, there's a lot riding on just that 1 attack. If you mess up, and now that bases are getting a little better, defenses are getting higher up, and then the nerf last month in the update,
But and I
it's not
was
as easy to go perfect.
and I think that's also happening to other people too.
Mhm.
And eh, like like I see it in Legends. I'm not hitting as good as I used to, like percentage wise, like with the update, but so
Mhm.
aren't other people.
Yeah, no, you
And
can see it around. I think the cream of the crop's still tripling a lot, but,
it's hard to
like, I've
even
definitely noticed my triple rate's gone down a little.
and I think it's hard to even like look at like war, right? Like or like CWL, like looking at the week, it's so hard to play it. And maybe it's different. It's probably different where you're at uh in leagues or whatever, but you you could look at it and go, this team's way up, and then realize, oh, they had the easier teams, the ones that are getting the least stars, right? And so things are start to play out. Like looking at day one is, I feel like, is always hard to compare because nobody's that first day is not even like a level playing field necessarily, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like the first week isn't, like, everybody's set at 5,000 at the beginning, and
no,
it
oh
kinda
no, I mean in like
or you mean
CWL.
CWS, sorry.
Yeah, like in CWL or whatever. So like, and then something weird happened, like no, maybe it was last CWL. Was it last CWL? I think it might have been. The team that got beat twice came back and won. I have no idea how it happened. Like it was weird because I was, looking at day one, and I believe this is the case, right? Because, but I thought I double checked. Um, that like the day one where you'd look at the board and go, okay, this team lost by this and this or whatever, and then the second where they lose again, and they were down, and you think, okay, those guys are definitely out, like they're, and then all of a sudden there they go, start popping up. I just didn't think
Yeah,
that was so. What it kind of taught me was like, hey, I guess it's never
don't
going to be
count anybody
over.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even if they've lost twice because that happened. I saw it.
well, the thing is, like, the 10-star swing of just winning a war is so big. Like,
Yeah,
we've
getting that award at the
yeah, we've ran into that a couple times where, like, we thought we were up there, and then this clan that was below us just hopped us all of a sudden because they got wins over 2 of the clans that we lost to or something, somewhere where it's just like that 20-star swing.
oh, yeah, they took it
Because you
back
get
and
the bonus of winning the war gives you those 10 extra stars, that makes a big deal,
yeah, because they could have a
big
bad day
difference.
somewhere else.
Yeah, and you can have a bad war sometimes out. So it's just it I think,
See,
like you said,
people
you
come
can't
down
ever
with the
count anybody
flu,
out.
you
Yeah,
know? Things like that
there's a lot
happen.
of things out there that can happen for sure. It's not just guaranteed for sure. Or like, remember telling me about that war we had a few months ago where there's just one guy and he'd wait till the last 45 minutes to attack. So like when you looked at every every day when you looked at it, we're like, oh, we're ahead. But then he would go ahead and get like 40 stars in the war just by himself in the last 45 minutes, and then his clan would cop, way up the leaderboard. So it depends on too, like how late people attack and if
Yeah,
you're paying attention to it or not, kind of thing.
because if you're looking at it, if it's close, then a lot of times like you're at the end going, okay, we really got to play this safe. Like I'm really, and that, or else you can kind of, all right, it looks like we're gonna win. It's not gonna come down to me anyways. Maybe I'll go with
Well,
this. I'm almost positive. You just play it a little bit different. Um, yeah, that was mind blowing to me. They were superheroes. That's what I think. That was the clan name was superheroes, and they believe it was last CWO. I think I shouted them out. I can't remember, but did you have any idea for the troop contest? Are you going to submit one?
no, I was listening to last week's with Swim and heard you talking about it. Like I don't know. I don't have like a creative mind for those things like that. Like some people just got it, some people don't with creativity like that. I just don't have the creative mind. I think you should with your AI skills of generating
I
pictures.
should
I
try
think
to
you
do
should
that.
come up with
The
some of
pu-
your ideas. Yeah.
I think I had an
You've
idea. I
already
think I
came
had a
out with
name.
ideas and you didn't even know it.
Yeah, yeah, right. I do like the one that I had, like the Stay Puff Marshmallow kind of guy. That like
Baymax. Call him Baymax.
Baymax. All right. And then like those skellies, like skelly loons coming off of them.
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
so down for that. Uh, shout outs.
Oh, shout out to you for having me on again. It's cool to be a guest. It's fun to banter about things and talk about things. And shout
I
out
look
to you
forward
guys
to
that
catching
came
up.
over and did that that qualifier with us. It was fun to
Oh
mix
yeah,
clans between the House of L and Lascar when we both didn't have enough. We were able to merge a team together and we did pretty good. I felt like.
yeah, that was
Um,
pretty cool.
it shout out to all the people that are just out there still grinding and keeping up with the game. Sometimes it can get overwhelming or too much, and you have to take a break sometimes, or sometimes you just get burnt out of things. And
Yeah,
I know it's
just,
hard to always stay in. So
just
it's
take
shout
a
out to everybody that still keep going.
take a break, take a step back, take off a couple
Yeah,
wars, and
yeah.
you know
Reset, get back into it.
find
I
a new
know we
pace.
yeah
You
find
can
a new
reset a
army or
pace.
a new drive. Find a
Just find it.
new goal.
Yeah,
Um, shout out to DQ Revolution. Hopefully, we can finish in the top 3 this time in CWL. We've been in champs 2 for 3 months now, which is cool because we haven't got demoted. We're just trying to we've
we
been
haven't
just,
got
like, in
kicked out.
4th or 5th. Yeah, we haven't got kicked out yet. We There was a couple times last year where we got in, but we got kicked out right away. So, it's been cool to stay up there, and hopefully we can just finish in the top 3. That's, my goal for us at least. This time around, we've been just short the last couple. We've been 4th or 5th, and I think it'd be cool to finish on a podium spot and end up going somewhere else.
I think
Shout out
last month I
to
thought we would be going on, but we didn't. We
you
was
end up
that
short.
close, but yeah,
Yeah. Shout out to all the people out there just giving us free bases online. That's amazing. And
yeah.
Twitter and whatnot, if you could find them. It's very, very much appreciated when we can get free stuff like that, especially when people are great builders and know what they're doing instead of me trying to hodgepodge and build base together and I have no clue what's going on.
I will be getting a hold of Ghost Knight very shortly.
Make sure you
Uh,
get the discount from, the C2J guys.
yeah, yeah, getting out those punch cards, the
Yeah,
Ghost Knight punch cards too.
the
Mm,
subscriptions where you pay,
yep.
like, 4 months in front.
I'm looking for coupon in the Christmas card too. Um, shout out to you for coming on. It's always so much fun catching up. And every time we're done, I leave and I go do better in Legend League. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just from standing next to you, I think. Um, shout out to House of L. I think this month is going to be the month that we promote. we're still running with 15s. They're
Are you guys running
kicking
30
butt.
people still?
Yep, it's a 30 this month.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's gotta be so much different. Like, I feel like that really would swing wars when you have that many more people involved.
y- I think I guess it puts a little bit more risk, like for all the teams, right? Like
Yeah,
because you have
yeah,
more people who could miss or things like that. I bet it is probably they. Well, the thing is most of the times is the 15s are up against 16s or 17s,
yeah, it's
and so
hard to
they're just hitting
get
up.
up.
But they're doing well, like not a problem. Like they're not the
That's
ones
awesome. Holding their
like,
heads above water for sure.
oh yeah, like they're not the ones holding back anything. It's like
Yeah,
just like a star here and there, where it's been. So it's cool to see that and see our team like just getting stronger every month, where we've kind of been like, well, are we at that point yet where we just can't, you know? Where's the cap? But so I think we're gonna do it, or at least we'll have fun.
yeah.
Trying to this
And if you
month.
guys come up with, like, this plan, like, I seen some of the notes of, like, hitting in certain spots or asking, I think that's really smart to kinda plan out ahead of time, maybe make
Just
sure you're hitting in certain spots and gaining the most stars where you can, tripling the most down low and hitting up if you need to. If you got a good strategy, I feel like you guys can definitely do it.
yeah, it's starting to kind of remind me of the old days, or like when you're talking about the war stars or what the battles are looking like, because it was like you would come down to it where, all right, we're in the last and this I'm thinking like of Town Hall 11 days, especially early time with that was like, okay, we got a 9 who can come up here and put a 2 on a 17. You're going to do that, or
Mhm.
2 on an 11, sorry.
Yeah.
And to play that, I kind of missed it's kind of fun to be able to be doing that. Where it's not like 3-star overblown things. Where it's making more sense sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. It's definitely makes the game more interesting instead of perfect wars all the time.
In time. Based on time too. Shout out to the podcast community. Shout out to all you listeners out there. You can get a hold of us, clashclanspodcast at gmail.com or clashclanspodcast.com. Until next time, keep it clashy, everybody.
Keep it classy.
Skilly beep boop, skilly boop.